cool that there's rules and they're supposed to follow orders from their officials, but their officials break the rules. They did it in 2008-09. They did it during the lockdowns. More lockdowns are coming, by the way, and they're going to do it again as they end capitalism, which I argue has already happened, and they're going to do a lot worse. Global surveillance, massive digital control, total oligarchy worldwide, global integration, collapse of the sovereignty of the United States. Doesn't matter if Trump gets in, doesn't matter if Biden's in. It's all going the same direction. This is a global, one world system, which is obvious to anyone with eyes to see. It's also biblically prophesied. So this is happening. So let me tell you, this is what they're saying. The end of U.S. capitalism. This is from a major U.S. financial institution. Now, keep in mind, Ray Dalio, another billionaire of Bridgewater and Associates, who's recently moved to China. He's basically fading the United States, just leaving, has also said this. It's a changing global order, he says. It's a changing world order. It's the end. America's done, guys. If you're betting on America, expect to lose. Do not take Warren Buffett's advice. He won't even be around in a couple years. Him and Charlie Munger are both going to the grave. They have extorted and exploited and extracted trillions of dollars of taxpayer funds for far too long, and they won't even live to see Bitcoin at $2 to $3 million plus dollars. God bless them. Pray they come to Christ, but they probably won't. I think they worship the devil. But again, America looks like he's in charge. So this is the end of U.S. capitalism. This is what they're saying. It says, against an increasingly uncertain geopolitical backdrop, Saxo senior fixed income strategist Althea Spinozzi hypothesized that the U.S. government could be forced to further increase defense spending while the Federal Reserve may still have to tighten monetary policy amid a second wave of inflation. Inflation hasn't stopped. It's hyperinflation. They're destroying the dollar. The debt is at a record high. We're losing the wars. Not us, because I don't support any of this. I'm against all of it. So Ukraine is losing against Russia. Russia is kicking the crap out of Ukraine. It's disgusting. Russia is dominating. Major articles, even the mayor of Ukraine is criticizing and saying what I'm saying right now of that puppet boy, Zelensky, the greatest fundraiser in U.S. history, taking taxpayer money for a non-NATO country to lose the war. But again, that was the design because they didn't want the Ukraine war necessarily. They wanted Israel. They were just opening up the biblical war. That was the whole point of Ukraine, losing the war. And what they're saying here is inflation hasn't stopped, which I told you it wouldn't. This is a hyperinflationary collapse, not a deflationary one. And let's continue reading. It says, in order to avoid social unrest, Congress may be forced to increase fiscal spending, sending the budget deficit above 10% of GDP, and meaning the government must foster demand for U.S. treasuries urgently. How are they going to do this? Break the rules. Because there is no system and there is no rule of law for the elites, guys. I tell you all the time. The attention goes to the stock market, where the magnificent 7 have now become 12, thanks to a missed downturn in government support programs directed to lenders and homeowners, according to this major Wall Street bank. Their group currently comprises, who you know, Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Tesla, and a few others. And guess what? They're all cucked companies, right? They're all woke, cucked companies. And by the way, Tim Cook is selling hundreds of millions of dollars of his stock, preparing for a stock market collapse. All the leaders are, all the insiders, they are hosing the United States of America, and they're getting away with it over and over again. It continues. They say to join the club are Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, JP Morgan Chase, LVMH, and ASML. So turning the 9 or so companies, which basically rig the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So when the stock market's going up, it's rigged, number one, from stimulus and fake debt that they're printing. But they only look at like 9 companies. Guys, so the rest of Wall Street's collapsing and going out of business. Look at Amazon. How many companies has Amazon put out of business? 99% of them. Small, medium-sized businesses and mom and pops go to zero. And the reason they've been allowed to do this is, of course, all these insider companies get government funding directly from you. Amazon's first major contract came from the CIA, hundreds of millions of dollars to build the cloud network and their cloud systems, a part of the DoD and the Pentagon. And that's how Jeff Bezos turned his first profit.